everyone. So today I have a book review for you on one of the books I requested to receive from Penguin, and that is Under the Egg by Laura Marks Fitzgerald. This is actually a middle grade book, and I'm not really the kind of person who gravitates towards these books anymore, but I was really intrigued by the description of the book that was sent to me, and so I decided to ask for it. Before I tell you guys how I feel about this book, I will first give you an idea of what it's all about. So it follows 13-year-old Theodora, or Theo as she is referred to in the book, and Theo lives in New York City. She lives in a house that is falling apart, and she lives there with her mother, who is extremely unattentive. There's definitely some mental illness issue there, but it's kind of, you know, it's referred to but not talked about too much. Theo's grandfather has recently passed away, and now Theo is left to not only take care of herself, but also take care of her mother, where when you're 13 years old, your mom should really be taking care of you, but that's not the case. So Theo is an extremely resourceful person. She picks stuff up off the street and finds different ways to recycle it and reuse it for her benefit. There's a garden in the back, so she tries not to grocery shop too much because they only have a couple $100s left. Theo has sort of accepted this reality, but is also upset with her grandfather for not helping her out a bit more before he passed away. The reason this book is called Under the Egg, and this is by no means giving away a large plot point, it happens very close to the beginning of the book. There is a painting that Theo's grandfather hints towards something about the egg, and so Theo spends a bunch of time investigating, trying to figure out what he meant by this, his, you know, final dying words, and she actually discovers that underneath the painting of an egg is something that looks to be very expensive and very old. Now, it could just be that Theo's grandfather had a nice old painting that he happened to buy a long time ago. The catch is that he worked as a security guard at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and Theo begins to, you know, think maybe her grandfather stole the painting. But before she, you know, comes to that conclusion fully, she decides to enlist the help of some newfound friends to figure out where exactly this painting came from, who painted it, and how it came to be in her grandfather's hands. Now we come to the part where I may start gushing a little bit. I absolutely loved this book. I was blown away by how much I enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting to love a middle grade so much, but I thought the plot was just perfect. You have a combination of art and history and just a well-written story with fun characters who I enjoyed reading about, just combined for the most fun I've had reading a middle grade book since who knows when. There was also this element of knowledge that I gained because I was learning a lot of things about art that I was unaware of, and it's never done in an overbearing way like this, you need to know this to understand what's going on. It was so well integrated into the story that it never felt like I was being forced to learn anything. It just fit really well. I feel like for this age group, for that middle grade age group, they wouldn't want to necessarily read a book that was just throwing a bunch of facts at them. The author is able to weave all of these things into the story so that it adds something to it as well as just makes the story cool. As somebody who does enjoy learning about history and learning about art, I was totally fine with learning as much as possible with it, and I think that really helped make it appealing to me because I am an older reader for this genre. I thought this book was just going to kind of focus around New York City and maybe, you know, learn a couple things about her grandfather, but we got so involved in what was going on in terms of the history of the painting and what, you know, figuring out where it came from. Also, just the different characters that we meet were well written, they were fun. Theo makes a new friend who has moved in down the street. Her name is Bodhi, I believe. It's a Hindi name. And she is sort of the opposite of Theo in the sense that she has all this access to this technology. Her parents are rich. She's able to look stuff up really quickly and get a lot of answers, whereas Theo has to go old school and she has to talk to people, go to the library. She, you know, can't afford to have a cell phone or a computer in her house, so she's doing it old school, and then you have that contrasting with what Bodhi can do, and it's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe some people wouldn't care, but I thought it was kind of fun. A couple reviews that I saw seem to have some issues with the reality of the fact that Theo was having to care for herself and her mother, and there was no social services involved, but I honestly could believe that situation would exist because kids fall through the system all the time. Her mother might not necessarily be involved, but her name would still be on things, and it's not like the government just knows that, oh, her grandfather died, therefore, you know, everyone's gonna swoop in and help save Theo. She's a little stubborn, so she doesn't really want help from anyone else. She wants to be able to survive on her own and take care of her mother just like her grandfather did. So I was totally fine with that. The one issue that I had was one of the things at the end when it was wrapped up, it felt a little too simplistic, too easy. It was awesome when it was revealed. I figured it out like a page before it happened, but at the same time, it seemed a little too implausible. So that's the one little issue that I had, but overall the story itself was amazing. As you can probably guess, 5 out of 5 stars for Under the Egg. I recommend this to not just people who enjoy middle grade, though if you do know somebody that likes to read and is sort of around this age group, make sure they pick up this book because yeah. However, if you're someone like me who is now 22 years old, you can definitely still enjoy this book. There are a lot of elements that appeal to an older age group. For those of you who have read the book, as I know there are a few of you out there who also received this book from Penguin, as well as people who have just picked it up on their own, let me know what you thought of it in the comments. We can gush about it while remaining spoiler free for those who have not had the chance to read it yet. As always, all of our links are in the doobly-doo down below. Feel free to check those out if you would like. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you later.